All right, we're back, baby. It's podcast time. Nishad's here.
Hey, how you doing?
What up, dude?
Hey, just hanging out. I drove over here, even though I could have walked very easily.
I was wondering. I was gonna ask. Yeah, coming from Central Ave.
Yeah, it's only about it's a 9-minute walk, about a 2-minute drive. It's right over there. Like probably the first set of streets you could turn onto in New Brunswick from here.
Yeah, and it was nice today. It got got a little shitty at night, but like
towards the end it got real cold. Yeah,
dude, I'm fiending for that spring weather, man. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm
it's like
it.
They're giving us little methadone hits of it. They're
Yeah,
like, all right, you guys are dying over here. Let me give you a little taste,
a little
and then
bit of
just
hope.
like take it away.
Yeah, man. What December, January, February? I always think I need to move the fuck out of New Jersey every time.
I really don't like to think like that. And previously, I've always held it over other folks, been like, hey, listen, you guys can emulate whatever popular culture or whatever's coming out of here, but you're going to be from some warm place, some warm country, you don't know what it's like over here. This is what gives us our edge.
Yeah, it's true.
But, I was driving around, not too long ago. I just gotten back from Mexico, and I was just like, fuck this, man. Oh, wait, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, say whatever. Say whatever.
Fuck this, man. I can't deal with this no more,
Yeah, no. I think the cold does give us our edge. Like New Jersey's got that get the fuck out of my way attitude.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In a cool way, So I fuck with that. Yeah, we're back. I took a week off. I was telling you, I've been throwing up nonstop, dude, for the past 2 weeks. I'm not even sick. I just have a bad stomach, and it caught
take
up with me.
probiotic supplements.
Yeah.
Kombucha, drink that stuff, huh?
Yeah, that stuff's good. All that like probiotic pills, Greek yogurt, kombucha. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Oikos, baby, oikos.
That's right. The plug. I got Crohn's disease, and it's just I ate something that just did me dirty, and I've been good for 5 years. I've never been this sick in a long time, but I've just been puking and
You qualify for one of them legal marijuana cards.
Yeah, I do. I'm halfway there. And then I kind of stopped because Phil Murphy got in.
Hey,
and
Phil Murphy. I've been telling people all over the world, you know what? If I get pulled over and I'm smoking a blunt or something in the car, I'm just gonna be like, hey, yo, Phil Murphy, nigga, and just drive away.
Yo, he said it's cool. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
So you grew up in New Brunswick, or?
Okay, so it's a little complicated. I grew up in Queens, in Hollis, New York.
So that's your That's your accent.
Well, another funny thing is, from Hollis, I moved around. I was 11, 12 years old. We moved to Hillsborough, New Jersey.
Okay.
Which is, 20 minutes down Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which becomes Amwell at some point. And, after high school, I just immediately was just all right, fuck Hillsborough. And I packed up my things and just started bumming around New Brunswick for a long time, going to every single show.
Yeah.
Even places where I knew I'd beef with people that live there, this and that, just because I didn't really have anything else.
Yeah.
End of high school, I had a falling out with one of my bandmates, the only other punk kid in town. But luckily we're best friends again. We've been living together for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
But
it can be awkward going to a house if someone there doesn't like you too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's good on you to just go to the show and just fucking get involved.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is the thing about New Brunswick is we don't have the same level of warehouse spaces or weirdo bars that you do in marquee cities like Philly or New York.
It's houses. Yeah.
The houses, and you get, in order to have one of these houses going, because we're in New Jersey, the state with the highest property tax and this and that, you gotta have 10 fucking people living with you.
Yeah.
So if one person has a problem with me, all of their housemates could force me to go to their house. I got no say.
That's not on you. Yeah. Right on. So how old were you when you grew up in Hillsborough? Because I know some people from over there.
So yeah, I was 11 or 12 when I moved to Hillsborough, and then
because there was some hardcore the Breakout. From
yeah,
Hillsborough,
the Breakout. Whatchamacallit.
I was playing shows with Marlo, with Gabe Diaz and shit, and we would play shows, and these kids from Hillsborough would roll called the Black Hoods, and it was a mosh crew.
Yeah.
No, suburban boy mosh crew, dude. I get nostalgic about that shit, man.
Yeah, okay, so back then, that's around the same time when I started going to shows. A little bit a tiny pinch before my time. Yeah. But yeah, you had all these weirdo suburban gangsters or whatever, and I hated it so much when I was a kid. But now I have a lot of nostalgia for that scene of dudes or whatever, because nobody has any clue where any of those people are. What the fuck happened to all of that? Where are these Black Hoods kids now? Why can't they come to my shows?
Someone on an earlier podcast was every post-hardcore, like metalcore, hardcore guy from like the early 2000s, like works at an auto repair shop now, or like.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not bad money. I might have to take some like Lincoln Tech course or something.
It's a working man's gig or woman, whatever. Hell yeah. So all right, so you move from Hillsborough, you get involved in the New Brunswick scene.
Yeah, and like I started coming out to shows in New Brunswick since I was like 14 years old. Actually, the guy I was talking about earlier, who like I had a little bit of a falling out with in high school, is my best friend Chris. He and I started coming out to New Brunswick together. His sister, when we were in middle school, was dating a guy who sang in a hardcore band that would play around here. And like I remember I was in 8th grade, and I'm going to a pisser, and I see him with his backpack. He's about to leave. I'm like, hey, where you going, Chris? And he's like, oh, I'm going to see Modern Life is War's last show in New Jersey.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm just staring at him. And all I just say is like, fuck. Like, you know, my parents aren't going to let me go to a show on a weeknight. I'm 12 years old, you know?
Yeah.
But when you got siblings, though, you know, the game's different.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we started going to shows together when we were 14. And very soon I got involved in the scene. You know, we were always like playing together in our little band from high school. And like just trying to sound like all the bands like we grew up on and thought were cool. Like His Hero's Gone, like, you know, 90s like crust stuff and like more melodic like Swedish inspired stuff as well.
Cool. Is this Disobey or that's later on?
That was Disobey, yeah.
Okay.
So he was my buddy Chris was our original singer, and we played for like a couple more years without him, but like we really got nailed like the whole like crust sound. It's kind of funny because like he's the guy that got us all into like all those bands,
like crust, street punk, oi shit, or more
less
just crust.
Like on the street punk oi side, more like on the like it's like more like I guess metal side of things.
Okay.
You know? Even though I hate heavy metal. You know, I don't like telling people that I've ever listened to any of that stuff now because I'm so over it. Like I said, I've been coming out since I was like 14 years old, and just like I'm not that much older. I'm like about to be 24 now, and it's just like I've been through all the phases, you know.
Sure.
I can't take anything heavy anymore. Maybe in 5 years I'll be doing heavy stuff again.
Yeah, eventually you grow to like appreciate everything a little bit. Like,
yeah, deadass. Yeah, and you know, New Brunswick, even though like a lot of people are like, oh, you're a huge spokesperson for it or whatever. You know, I've had some other love affairs. You know, I spent a lot of time in Brooklyn sometimes. I lived in Philly for a year.
Yeah.
But I'm back here.
Yeah.
You know?
They've all got a lot of cool things going on. Like Philly's got a lot going on that I think is really neat. Brooklyn's cool if you can find the spots too. I think. I guess that's everywhere. But in New Brunswick, it's like a 10-block radius of houses.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's the coolest thing about it is because it's like most of the kids who go to shows. I wouldn't say most of them. Maybe like 60% of kids who go to shows, they do live within that 10-block radius, and it's just like you'll get. If it's on a Saturday or Friday night, sometimes I get like 120 kids packed into a basement, and they all just like walk there, and so they're getting trashed and like doing the craziest dance moves.
It's fun, man.
They know all the words for all the bands, you know. It's sick.
It's fun how close together everything is, and you could still like go to shows for like 3 years and not know about a house. Like
Absolutely.
Someone didn't know about your place recently. Like, dude, really? Like he's like running like cool punk hardcore shows that in like the area, and it was just like someone in like a different scene. Like it doesn't like cross over really. Yeah,
you know, actually, like there's a couple houses that I know about. I'm not gonna name them like that. I mean,
we'll talk after.
Yeah, but whatchamacallit, there's one that I went to on New Year's, and I'm not even gonna say all the debauchery me and my housemates got into there on New Year's Eve, but it was pretty. We kind of fucked it up, and we were like pretty wasted. But I was like, "What house is this?" And then someone told me like, "Oh, that's a house that like does shows. Like kids who go to your shows live at that house." I was like, "Oh shit, the fuck did we do? Who gave me liquor? I told you I don't do that shit."
Did you reach out to anyone, or you're kind of hoping it's just under the bridge? Maybe they won't remember.
If you guys listen to this, you know which house this is, and you want us to like help paint over some shit, and you need some more things.
Dude, we gotta stick together, the basement community.
No, totally. I feel really bad about it. But
I've seen you out though, and you can have fun and get a little rowdy.
Yeah, you know, I was with a group of like 12 people that night.
Okay.
And like, they were handing liquor to me. I had Cuban cigars. We were wilding out and balling out and ushering in the new year. The right way. 2017, man.
Happens,
that was a real doozy for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you guys are hearing this right now, I'll help you paint over anything, buy you some more blue drink, whatever.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man, sometimes you gotta have fun, but you gotta respect that space, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. The older I get, the more of a fucking parent I turn into.
Listen, I wouldn't have done it if... okay, it was New Year's Eve, right? And I put on a live video for the Ramones.
Okay.
And so Ramones playing in London. I think it's 76 into 77.
Put it on your phone or like on
there? They had like a TV setup thing going on.
Okay.
And they were watching the fucking like CNN feed for like the ball.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, dude. Like we've lived in the New York metropolitan area for how long? Like you can just drive if you really want to see the ball.
What does Ryan Seacrest have to say on New Year's that we have to hear?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that guy's like, fucking, thanking his lucky stars. He's like, all right, I got time and a half for fucking New Year's.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Botox motherfucker.
Yeah. So I put on this Ramones live video on their big ass projection setup. Dude, no. What happened was I synced it up perfectly.
Okay.
So it would be like, there's a part in the video where like they bring out the Pinhead and they're playing Pinhead, the song, and there's a sign that says Gabba Gabba Hey, but then on the back, when it turns 12, during that song, it says Happy New Year. There's a bunch of confetti and balloons and stuff.
Yeah.
And I synced it up perfectly. So at 12 o'clock midnight, you'd see the Pinhead and Joey Ramone saying Happy New Year to you, this and that. Some fucking bro dude with a blazer and like this and that on comes in and is like, hey bro, you like punk? Ever hear of the band Turnstile? Turns off the Ramones. Puts on fucking Turnstile. I was like, I'm done with these
Why did he try to one-up you a Turnstile in 2018?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, yeah. Chances are everyone's heard of Turnstile at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Which, they're cool. It's fine. But, you're trying to do your thing.
Hey, they might be cool, all right? But the Ramones, that's a timeless classic.
Classic punk right there.
Hey, it's New Year's. You gotta listen to, you gotta see the Ramones live in London on New Year's.
Yeah. I'm sure it's all good. I'm sure, you can make amends. We got a formal apology on the podcast.
Hey, college kids. Yeah, I got a formal apology to give you if you'll reach out to me after hearing this.
Yeah.
But hopefully you don't hear it.
Yeah, man. It's different houses got different crowds. Like you're doing shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eastern Bloc, right?
Yeah,
Can we
same
plug
thing.
it? Can we plug say the house name on here?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. At this point, everyone knows how to keep a house show under wraps enough online, I think,
You'd be surprised.
Dude, are people still sharing the addresses publicly?
There's this, I just saw on Facebook the other day, there's some house, I'm not going to mention it, in town, some I don't know what bands are out of there or whatever, but they have a fucking Facebook page for their house. Yeah. And that's, hey, okay, if those kids are listening to this, that's not okay. You better delete that page right now. You're jeopardizing the whole fucking scene when you do stupid shit like that.
Well, yeah, because there was that sting last year where 3 houses got shut down in a weekend or something, and that's fucking sucked. That was a big hit, I feel like.
Yeah, actually, one of my buddy's houses, or actually, no, two different houses who were friends of mine. They actually lived on the same block. Their landlords just told them what was up. Yo, the city told us what you're doing here.
Yeah.
And,
cops find out and contact the landlord directly, and they're like, if they do any more, you're getting fined.
See, that's the worst part about it is, people who have been around forever and have been doing this, if we went to court over it, we might even be able to beat the ticket. But they didn't even do that. They pulled the whole snitching on your mommy thing and told their landlords directly.
Yeah.
The landlords don't got to play by the rules like the cops do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the biggest way to get a landlord to shut it down is say, yeah, we're going to fine you a lot of money. It's a fire hazard, all that shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. All this stuff is, it's not specifically illegal, but a lot of it, a lot of things that we have to do in order to have this scene going on, we have to, bend the rules a little bit.
Well, because they immediately associated with, they just picture underage drinking and everyone's doing Molly or some shit. They want to assume the worst.
Hey, listen, that's the thing about our shows at E Block is all the younger kids are straight edge. We don't really fuck with underage drinking like that.
Yeah.
And you don't get that at all these college kid houses. You had that Brunsapalooza or whatever, Brunsaroo last year. Yeah. And the kids are charging $50.
There was pre-sale online, right?
Dude, that's oh my god.
Yeah, all right. So stupid cop bit I do online where I tell people I'm a cop.
Oh yeah,
That's dumb as shit. But I went to the show. I have a cop uniform. I went to the show dressed as a cop, and I was like, I need to speak to who's in charge. I'm shutting it down. And then I walked downstairs and I immediately felt like a fucking asshole because I was like, all right, all these kids are 6 to 7 years younger than me. They're just trying to have fun. They might be a little naive and they definitely jeopardize the whole scene. But who the fuck am I to be scene please? Who am I to be no.
No excuses for jeopardizing this scene. You do whatever you want to do in your basement. That's fine. Just you don't got to, if you're doing it for the fame and the glory of the money or whatever, you're gonna be putting us all at risk. And 2, that's not what it's for. That's not why it's worked for so long.
Yeah. You know what it felt like? It felt like some shit that a kid did, and they're going to put on their resume when they go to be an intern at like some company. Like, ooh, I organized Brunswick. It was a 3-day festival. We did, and here's the website. Like, it felt like kind of too cheesy.
Yeah, dude.
For this city.
Like, I don't know. I feel like they had some, like, website template that they took from some college class they took. And then just like, oh, yeah, let's make a music festival website. And then they actually booked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they had the fucking thing, like, there's some, like, sketchy, problematic shit they did with their bathrooms or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently they had, like, some sign. I don't know what it was exactly. But they had, like, unnecessarily gendered bathrooms in their house.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's not, you don't...
To go out of your way to do it, yeah, like, that's strange.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just like, it was right at the time when that whole gendered bathroom bill thing, the debate was, like, raging on or whatever.
So do you think it was, like, in response to that?
I don't know if it was
timing?
In response, but it was definitely, like, a little tone deaf.
Yeah.
Given, like, the timing, you know?
Sure.
Just, like, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of rumors about me, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of awful things to say about me, but most of those people... I'm pretty ideologically aligned with them.
I consider you progressive. From what I see you posting a lot in the conversations.
Yeah, I consider myself like a non-denominational radical leftist, right?
Okay.
So like I have a lot of like progressive ideals and this and that, and a lot of people want to say that I don't or whatever. But at the same time, there's people who are, you know, interacting with us and like doing a similar thing to us who are actually doing fucked up things.
Sure.
And I'm not necessarily saying, like, the bathroom thing or, like, charging $50 for your show and pre-sale and this and that. Alone, none of those things are necessarily fucked up.
That's just, like, basic normie shit. That's just, like, you don't get it. But you're not, like, still hurting anyone.
All of it together, and I think if, you know, the police did get involved and, like, see where we were at because of all this stuff, I think, you know, that together is a lot more problematic than, like, I don't know, anything that people are saying about me and my friends. And
What's the issue people have?
You know,
if you don't want to get into it, we don't have to.
I'll summarize a little bit for you.
Okay.
You know, when I moved down to Philly, I was kind of like pressured into moving down there, and like, you know, kind of like basically I had this ex-girlfriend who was like, if you don't come down to Philly to see me every week from New Brunswick, like this and that. And so like I would be spending too much time there, and like I would be ignoring my family and this and that. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to move to Philly. And we moved to Philly, and then, like, it didn't work out. Very soon after I moved there, it didn't, you know, ended up not working out.
Sure.
And then, whatchamacallit, you know, I was still cool with her. We were still talking and this and that. And then my pops dies. So you go back to, like, talking on the phone every day, this and that, even though at the time she and I were both seeing other people. And, you know, my therapist is like, yo, you gotta, like, what the hell are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
So I tell her, hey, you know, like, I don't think you should come to shows at my house in Philly. And she's like, okay, yeah, I understand this and that.
Okay.
And I was like, if you really need to be at something, you know, give me an email. You know, I'll make myself scarce or whatever. I just gotta live here, you know. I'm not trying to be some kind of fucking cool guy or whatever. But, yeah, you know, that was fine. And then she shows up to a show like a month later without hitting me up, and I'm like, "Hey, you gotta leave." And then her boyfriend starts coming in. You know, this is the first relationship this guy's ever been in. Right?
All right. So I can already. He's gonna overreact, and before you even say it's hard. Breakups fucking suck. It becomes very hard, and seeing someone can fuck. Like if you and how many months after the breakup was this? Where she comes to the house?
It's like 2-3 months after the breakup.
Okay, yeah. I'm if I break up with someone, I'm fucked up for like half a year. I can't even.
I'm fucked up for like.
Yeah,
pretty much until like I'm ready to go out with the next one.
It's hard.
I'm gonna be fucked
it's hard.
Up, you know?
Everyone acts differently, and yes, you want to be the biggest person you can always, but it's hard.
Listen, all I'm saying is I give you an avenue to reach out to me and to say this and that.
Sure.
And you don't take it.
You show up with
That's
your boyfriend.
That's not on me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, her boyfriend you know, he like jumps in front of me while I'm talking to this person that I've known for like almost a decade now, and like whom I grew up with, and this and that, and we, you know, we both ended up in Philly, but like, you don't know this person the way I know this person, and you don't know me the way that person knows me.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with you, but like this guy with his macho insecurity is like, oh, bro, if you got something to say to my girl, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking talking to you. You know, I mean, I'm talking to somebody I grew up with.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and then, you know, then like that dude's friends got involved, and you know, me. You said you know me. You've seen us out. We like to have fun. And, yeah, I might have said that I'm going to respond accordingly to whatever these guys were saying to me.
Okay.
So now it's this whole big, New Brunswick versus, like, parts of the Philly scene thing, and it's ridiculous. Okay. And then, I got another buddy, similar story. He had this breakup with this girl, and, like, he cut off ties with her, and she wasn't about it. So, like, a couple of years later, he just starts hearing all this stuff on the internet. Oh, apparently I'm an abuser now, like this and that. The thing is, like, me and all my friends were people who understand that stuff, or were people who read about that stuff. We would know about that sort of thing, and I'm not trying to discredit any victim's experience and say you didn't go through whatever you went through.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I've experienced and stopped a lot of stuff.
If you know the person, yeah. And looking back, if someone, and like we were saying, breakups fucking suck. Like, you can be fucked up from a breakup and then look back and be like, I was manipulated. Because, there's a period at the end of a relationship where you don't know what's the right thing to say. And
absolutely, yeah.
Someone could feel like they're being fucking lied to because, like, your feelings change.
Yeah, especially when you're in your early 20s and it's already been established that there's a lot of lying in that relationship or whatever.
But did she say, like, he physically assaulted her?
No, she never said that. She never lied about anything that happened, but she omitted a lot of details and she made bigger things out of some things. Like, for instance, my ex-girlfriend made a post about me. After this is like
this girl from the show.
Yeah. Who I asked to leave my house, whose boyfriend wasn't happy about it, this and that. Mm-hmm. She made a post about me, and she starts telling people like, "Oh, yeah, he used the N-word in our relationship."
Okay.
And I'm like,
I think you said it at the beginning of this podcast, right?
I'm from Queens. Like,
you're pretty open about
this is the way that we speak. It's a regional thing, and I understand that. Here's another thing. Okay, I dated another person in Philly after her. And this is a white person, and she would tell me, hey, you shouldn't say that. And I'm like, all due respect, I don't think it's a place for white people to police the language of brown people anymore. Sure. It's not. I don't think that's kosher.
This is the thing that goes from circle to circle of friends, because I'm sure you have friends that are cool with it. And I'm sure.
See, the thing is, that's the difference between my hanging out in Philly and my hanging out in New Brunswick is, ethnically, New Jersey in general is one of the most ethnically diverse places there is.
Totally.
So even in a marquee city like Philadelphia, you don't have as much ethnic diversity, especially in like the cool guy punk scene that you do here in New Brunswick.
Well, because the rest of Pennsylvania is waspy white people too.
Exactly, and most of the kids who are in the Philly punk scene are like waspy white kids.
That's where they came from. Yeah,
exactly.
Then they just got a septum piercing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, and it's no shame or whatever. Like
no shade to septum piercings. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I think those are cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're gonna live where you're gonna live or whatever.
Yeah.
But don't judge other people.
Sure.
Because over here I say that word a lot in New Brunswick, and like I'm mostly hanging out with either brown or black people. Like there's only 2 white kids who live in my house out of like 7 people.
Okay.
So like it's just like
it's a different understanding.
Yeah.
It's a person to person thing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And anyone who's heard about anything about me, who's spoken to me, I don't know. Maybe your listeners might have noticed. I'm a somewhat articulate guy. I'm able to like clarify any murkiness or whatever, any question about any of the details, and people are fine with me.
Yeah.
But when people see stuff on the internet, this and that, they go crazy.
Well,
when
something's in print, you're automatically gonna just take it at face value and just assume that.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like
and saying that word, like it's one thing for if you were with someone and they're like, dude, that kind of makes me feel weird. Then you have the option to be like, fuck you, I'm going to still say it. Or if it's someone that you respect how they feel, you can be like, all right, I'll try to chill with that when you're around, For someone to police you, to be like, you shouldn't say that, here's why. And especially when it comes from a white person, when it's like,
Yeah, listen, that person would be like, oh, well, there's a lot of anti-blackness in the South Asian community, I might know that you're an ally, but most people might not be able to tell. I'm like, I'm wearing fucking baggy jeans and a fitted. No one's going to think that I'm some kind of fucking, like, one of these alt-rights or whatever. And I've marched against those people, and I've gotten into scuffles with them, and, like, whatever. I do a lot more for this stuff than some stupid-ass white person on Twitter. All right?
That wants to, yell at you. Yeah.
And it's not a matter of, like, being cool or being, like, up-to-date with
and you're not even
values.
trying to say that you earned a right to say it. It's just, it's the way you grew up.
Yeah. This is a reality of the regional dialect. of
Sure.
the New York, New Jersey area.
Yeah.
And if you got a problem with it, I'll introduce you to some of my friends. Like, we'll see who speaks ignorantly then, eh?
Yeah, it's just different. Now, if it came out of a white person's mouth, I can see it rubbing people a lot worse.
Excuse me. Yeah, actually, the other night, I said it in front of this white kid, excuse me. And I saw, like, at first he got, like, visually uncomfortable, so I tried to lay off of it. Then later on that night, the same kid uses that word, nigga. I'm like, oh, whoa, hey, yo, white boy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You can't use that word.
Sure.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh,
you didn't realize, kid. You thought I was like some kind of goon or something. Not
he
me.
wanted to be cool. He wanted to do the cool handshakes and say the cool words.
No, he's a good
funny.
kid.
Yeah,
Kevin,
yeah.
if you're listening, you're a good kid, all right?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's person to person. I feel like white people generally have a less chance to say it, and like, why do you want to say it? Like, a kid that works, I'm a job. She's like a manager somewhere, and this girl was saying it. This white girl was saying it, and visibly making people uncomfortable and cringy.
No bueno.
Yeah, and employees called her out and shit, and she was like, so what? This is where I grew up, and it's like, all right, you grew up in North Jersey. Like, I get you said it around your friends, but it's person to person, especially a professional workplace, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can't roll into your job.
Yeah, I don't think I know anyone who's even any person of color says that word at work.
Yeah.
Maybe in the back room or something.
Time and place. Yeah, I think it was like a kid. It was probably like a 20 or 21-year-old, which is like still can be a kid if you live at home and don't grow up fast enough.
Sure.
But yeah, as soon as corporate found out that she got fired right away,
Hey, it sucks to be you, kid.
Yeah, pretty much. Learn your fucking lesson. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. But so what ethnicity are you?
So I am Bengali and Tibetan.
No shit.
Yeah, my father's side, we're Bengali from originally East Bengal, now known as Bangladesh. They settled in Calcutta in the Indian state of West Bengal.
Yeah.
And my mother's family is from Lhasa in Tibet, and they were refugees in the 1959 uprising against China. My grandmother, pregnant with my late elder aunt, and she and my grandfather, they rode she was riding on a mule, and he was walking alongside her, and they had all these Tibetans, Dalai Lama included, in the same group, emigrating from Tibet to India, because in the 70s and stuff, and prior to that, after the uprising in 59.
Who were they being like persecuted by?
The Chinese, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, India realized that if they didn't, there were all these like little independent kingdoms in the Himalayas, right?
Sure.
So if they didn't, absorb them and give them statehood or whatever, they'd be getting the same treatment that Tibet did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they settled in a state in India called Sikkim in the Himalayas, and there's a lot of Tibetans and a lot of Nepalis there. And my mom went to dental school in Calcutta, which is where she met my dad.
Yeah, and then they just moved to Queens eventually.
It's a very romantic and long story. So what happened was, my dad was friends with my mom's cousin, and they, one of her cousin's name was nicknames was Chengiz Khan, because in Calcutta, everyone looks like me without the slanty eyes, right? So you don't see guys like that who are huge and eating a lot and fighting a lot like that. So it is an apt nickname. And my dad just being involved in Calcutta is the heart of Indian counterculture. Okay. So my dad just being involved in street life in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in Calcutta, he would date a lot of girls. My mom was from a village in the mountains. She'd never dated anybody before she met my dad. And what happened was he moved to America, to actually New Brunswick. The apartment complex right to the right over there, my parents used to live there in 91, 92.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And in those days, that was a really fancy spot.
Sure.
Now, not so much, but, whatchamacallit. Their dream car when they first came to America was Pontiac Grand Am or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad moved out here, and he realized that the only girl that he still wrote letters to was my mother. So he asked her to marry him, and then she
came over?
She was in Calcutta with her friend, another friend from Sikkim in the mountains. And she told her friend, oh, yeah, I'm going to Italy for a dental conference. And, they're at the airport gates, and my mom keeps walking towards, the American Airlines gate or whatever. And her friend's like, no, Italy's this way. And she's like, hey, I'm going to America to marry Gogo. That's my dad's nickname.
Yeah.
And they got married and this and that. And
that's really sweet.
Yeah, you know.
That's a nice story.
Whatchamacallit? They eloped.
So your dad was like a rough and tough, like ish street guy, kind of.
Less rough and tough, more of like a Casanova type, you know.
Okay.
More, he could had told me fight stories from his youth, but like he was more into like just experiencing it all, and like him being like in his mid-20s, moving to New Brunswick and then eventually New York, and just like seeing the old New York before Giuliani and shit.
Sure.
Like that shit's wild.
Different place.
Oh yeah, I mean even with Giuliani, when Giuliani was still there, compared to now, New York is completely it's completely different.
Yeah.
What you gonna call
the city's changing fast. It's gonna always change.
You know, I was in the old neighborhood not too long ago. Actually, it was right after my father passed away, about a year and a half ago, and I was there with yet another person that I was dating. I'm actually still in love with this person a little bit. So hey, if you were with me when my father died and we went to Queens, and you're listening to this, you know, you should give me a call sometime. I still like you a lot. But what was it?
It changed, I'm guessing. Queen. I know a lot of people moving to Queens.
Dude, I swear, I went to college at Hofstra for a semester, and then I dropped out, and then fucking I had been to the old neighborhood for the first time in years. That was like 2012, and like compared that even then to like last year, I was like, yo, this place looks like a third world country like 4 years ago. Like now it's like they got like installation artwork
kind of getting gentrified
on the side, this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You know areas are getting gentrified when like the benches don't look like a regular park bench that a bum could sleep on, but it's like some stupid installation shit that's made specifically so that no one can lie down on it, this and that.
Yeah.
What is it? The girl I was with at the time, she called it something like it was like cruel design or something like that. There's like a word for it.
I didn't know they made benches a certain way so you can't sleep on it, but I could see that.
Yeah, they'll have like the little like arm divider things in the middle, like
to make it look nicer. But
yeah, and then like there'll be like little spiky ridges on this side or something like that.
See, when raising the rent drives out the people who built or live in that community, that's when I think gentrification's fucked up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if it brings art and culture, like bringing in new people, I think that's fine. But it's on the landlords whenever they decide to, you know, push up prices because they realize they can flip it and make money, you know? That's when I think it's really fucked up.
Yeah, but, you know, like, okay, so when you talk about gentrification with someone from New York, you know, it's all like scowls and like anger and this and that.
Sure, because the area changes. You know,
yeah,
people want it to stay the same forever.
But when you talk about gentrification with someone from Philly, it's a completely different story because Philly has always been a real rough and tumble working class town, and the natives, they want it to get better. You know, the only people talking about gentrification like that are the ones who are responsible for it in Philly. Like literally everyone who says anything negative about gentrification who's from Philly, they're like, yeah. Gentrification sucks, but the only people who are like really talking about it are the people who are like going there, buying up all these like modern monstrosities. Like I don't know, I call them shit boxes. You'll see on a block where you have all these houses built like a century and a half ago, and all of a sudden on the corner you'll see a big construction site, and a couple months later, it's just like as if there was a concrete mold for a building, and they just like made it like that.
Yeah.
There's like no facade, no brickwork, nothing. You know, there's no love being put into the architecture for these places, and it's just like people. I don't know. People are going there by the millions. I don't know. Definitely not. That's not possible. But like, there's another punk house in town. Friends of mine. Actually, I used to live with one of them. They're just giving up on New Brunswick and moving to Philly. Like
a lot of people are moving there. Yeah. I mean, I'll always love New Brunswick, but it's just a college town, so it will flip quickly.
Yeah,
and Rutgers, I think the rent is going up in a lot of places. We were talking about before we did the podcast, you know?
Yeah, well, I can feel like trying to move out of New Brunswick if you're like 30 or something like that. And
I'm getting there.
Well, yeah, you know, whatchamacallit, you got bigger prospects elsewhere, that's whatever. But if you're my age, don't move to Philly to work in a coffee shop. You can work in a coffee shop in New Brunswick and do cooler shit. Don't start a fucking warehouse space in like some ethnic neighborhood or whatever. I've seen that shit. And
a warehouse space?
It's whack. Yeah, I used to live in a warehouse space in Philly. It was pretty cool. Definitely, I wasn't really in a residential neighborhood at all. So like, it wasn't set up too bad or nothing. But like, same deal here. When you're prominent and you're doing shows or whatever, everyone's gonna have a fucking problem with it, right? And so, like, apparently people said that they were uncomfortable because of me there. And I was like, all right, well, fuck you guys. I'm out of here.
Dude, I'm sorry. Champ is eating something. I gotta pause it for a second.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Sorry, I thought he was choking on a cork or something.
Well, I'm glad he's not.
Yeah, no, he's safe. So you were talking about New Brunswick and...
Oh, yeah. Well, I was talking a little bit about my experience in Philly and how I left there because people were saying this and that about me. And then
all from that scuffle, though?
All from that, but then, like, I was like, this is ridiculous, and I'm not having this conversation with you people. And I've already revealed many details about, like, the death of my father and my personal relationships, like, that I feel comfortable with, and you guys are, like, prying it out of me. I find out, like, 2 months after I leave, one of the guys who was making life a living hell for us over there, like, this guy would get all Sherlock Holmes over, like, a missing hash brown or some shit. He ended up being this real shitbag and, like, lying to women about wearing a rubber when they were, like, doing it and this and that. And, like, apparently he did this to a bunch of different women. And this is the guy who was acting like Mr. Mediator. It's like, oh, yeah, people are saying this and that about you.
Yeah.
And then I heard people talking about our spot at a show over there. Like, oh, yeah, you ever hear about this spot? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, yeah, I've heard some fucked up things about it. I'm like, oh, brother, here we go.
Yeah.
And then I hear, like, yeah, I hear they unfairly kicked out a lot of people of color over there. And, like, this and that. I was like, oh, shit, these kids are smarter than I give them credit for. Yeah. But, like, that's the difference between gentrification in Philly and gentrification in New York. You can do cool things, but it's a lot of people who say they stand for certain things who don't exactly, who are in charge of that thing over there. It's, like, definitely, like, a cool kids club. It's definitely, like, you got to know this person and that person. Philly might be a big city, but there's a small-town mentality there.
Yeah.
And the people from there want to see it grow, and they want to see it become, like, a marquee thing, like New York or whatever. But, yeah, whatchamacallit, New York is, like, nobody really gives a fuck about you. Or what you're doing.
No, because there's too many people. Yeah, it's hard to really build anything.
And if you got problems with somebody in New York, big fucking whoop. You just never have to interact with that person again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just don't go out of your way to see them, and you probably won't see them.
Exactly. And, like, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different, like, groups of people doing a lot of cool things in New York still. And, like, you do lose spots every now and then, but a new one will spring back up, you know, that you could, like, replace it with.
So you've gotten into, like, more oi and, like, skinhead culture in the past couple of years, right?
Yeah, past couple of years. It's a recent development, but it's also a little bit of a throwback.
Sure.
To, you know,
when you realize, like, the shit that you've liked all along kind of ties into that.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was 14, every Friday, me and my friends would walk back home from school, and we would shave our heads together, lift weights, and listen to the Cro-Mags.
Dude, yeah, that's exactly it.
And I was really into the skinhead shit when I was a youngster. You know, I remember the first time I heard Cock Sparrow's I Got Your Number, and I was like, this is one of the catchiest songs I've ever written.
Yeah.
But I got really, really into the crush shit, the heavy shit for years, which they're just now discovering in Philly, oddly enough.
Yeah,
that was hip back then, you know. It's over now. But whatchamacallit? Yeah, I just was like, I'm so sick and tired of listening to heavy stuff. Like, I just, threw out my tuners and stuff because I'm like, I can tune by ear to E standard, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
And I threw out all my, I didn't throw them out. They all got lost or stolen or whatever. All my dirt boxes and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to start a new band, clean guitar tone only, mids at 10, and we're going to have just verse, hooks, maybe a solo every now and then. No, none of that, heavy stuff. No breakdowns. No,
different
panic chords, this and that. None of that stuff. I don't even really yell when we play.
A little more to the roots. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you're not screaming.
Yeah. Back then I tried to sound like I was 300 pounds. Now I just...
The metal voice.
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to sound like a youngster yelling about my problems.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah, and also, when we started the band Dusters, one, it was a different lineup. Completely different lineup. And two, I had just gotten into soccer hooligan culture.
Okay.
So me and our bassist Mario and a lot of our friends, our greater extended circle probably at this point, we're involved in this thing. It's called the Garden State Ultras, and it's
I don't know if it's you that posted. I saw some shit recently where it was it had to have been you. But go on. Sorry.
No. What'd you see?
It was you're not welcome at Red Bull games.
So this past season we got a little buck. Some of the incidents include, after having a banner stolen from us in the Bronx at NYCFC at Yankee Stadium, we kind of ganged up on this kid and beat his ass in the subway. And, their family's watching, and we're running up the stairs, and we beat this kid up, and they just stopped dead in their tracks, oh my God, what is this? Because they don't even know what New York Red Bulls or NYCFC are. Most people don't.
And seeing that in 2018 is a lot different than seeing it like in old school New York.
In the 70s and 80s when they were doing that shit in the UK, everybody was getting into fights every week, even over here. People don't fight like that anymore.
No, it's very different. My dad grew up in Brooklyn and worked the street corner doing jobs, whatever the fuck, and he was just telling me every night was another fight. Everyone was taking Quaaludes and shit, punch drunk and knocking people out.
Well, here's the thing, and I was touching up on this stuff a little bit later because when I was talking about the rumors about me, these days people can spread rumors about you and they can hold you accountable on the computer, I guess professionally accountable, not professionally, but in terms of whatever you're using your social media for. People who see that stuff, you'll be kind of held accountable there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, people can get away with a lot of really shitty things that most people don't do because the assumption is that with social media and all the CCTV cameras and stuff like that, I might get in trouble or whatever. But there are organized networks full of people who are all consenting members who want to get into fights every week.
Sure. Well, that's part of hooligan culture.
Yeah.
Like the kid stole your banner as a kind of...
As a taunt. He knew it was going to come if we caught him, and he let us catch him.
As a crew thing, right? I'm guessing he was with someone else.
So we support New York Red Bulls. And, that incident, and then another when we were at our biggest rivals' home turf, DC United, at their final match at RFK Stadium. Been around since, a long time ago. There was the last game there ever. And we all snuck in smoke bombs and flares in our Gucci's. We lit them all off at the end of the game, and one of us threw a flare off our section, and it landed on some tent below us,
shit.
Which apparently was meant for little kids.
Oh man!
But there were no little kids in it at the time, and it bounced off.
That's not good.
So MLS and the Red Bull front office have had it up to here with us, and they're like, all right, we don't recognize you officially anymore. At least.
Oh, so it was officially affiliated with the team?
Somewhat, you weren't. They didn't never give us any money or anything like that. But say if we said, "Hey, we got 50 guys. I want to go to this game in DC or something," they're like, "All right, maybe we could get a bus for you," something like that.
Oh wow!
Sometimes they'd help us out. Most of the time, any of our interactions with Rebel front office are "You guys are assholes. We hate you."
Sure.
This and that.
It's the final straw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's fucking flare on the tent.
they're happy to use all the footage of the smoke and the flares on television to advertise for it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fostering the culture, or at least letting us do our thing, no such thing.
Well, because soccer isn't even a mainstream thing, but it's the games are huge. I have friends that go to those games.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten a lot bigger, especially since the last World Cup. And it's a disaster that the U.S. didn't get into the next World Cup because the sport was definitely, they had an upswing, and now I don't think there's going to be general interest if we're not going to be in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But the reason I brought up the GSU, the Garden State Ultras, and this and that is because I just started doing that at the same time I started this band. And actually, when I started this band, I just wanted to sound like that band Fucked Up from Canada.
Yeah.
Just real simple, back to basics, hardcore punk, but with really good songwriting and trying to bring it into the 21st century a little bit. But everyone's like, "Hey, you guys sound like a hardcore punk band. You got hooks, and you're a hooligan, right? So you're an oi band now." I'm like, "Yeah, I can fuck with it."
Kind of works, yeah.
Yeah, so
I'd say it works pretty well.
Yeah, so now I'm involved in the skinhead culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you sing about?
Like we mentioned earlier, gentrification. I sing a lot about that. I sing a lot about, our home city, New Brunswick.
Hell yeah. Hub City Hardcore, baby.
Hub City Hardcore, baby.
It lives.
What else do I sing about? I get in a lot of trouble for this, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I sing a lot about, I call out racism, and I call out casual racism as well as overt racism.
Okay. And give me an example of casual racism.
Okay, so I have a song called Marginalize Me. And I
listened to that today, actually.
Oh, respect. Yeah, and it's
on Bandcamp for $600. $666.
That's the live version. I don't want people really buying that shit.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Whatchamacallit? Marginalize Me. It's just a song. The hook goes, marginalize me at work. Marginalize me, you jerk. You marginalize me at shows. Yeah, you marginalize me, And I'm just saying, you say weird things to me at work, or something like that. Say, this guy, Ron, I used to work with in Philly. He told me a story about Indians once.
Sure. Trying to relate to you.
Trying to relate to me.
That's the thing, when people are so out of touch that they if I worked with a black guy and I was like, "Hey, did you see the basketball game last night?" Just trying too hard.
Yeah, shit like that. that's racism. And a lot of like white kids, especially white kids who think they're progressive and might have a spiky haircut and like studs on their jacket, they don't like being called out on their racism. They really hate it, and it's really intimidating to them.
Because they're trying too hard and not really you got to just see a person and not like, oh, I see this kind of person, so I want to, bring this up.
Yeah, here's the thing is today, because you got the information superhighway or whatever, a lot of people have access to a lot of good literature, and they know a lot of stuff about certain things.
Yeah.
But, that comes at the cost of real life experience.
Sure.
And a lot of people are falling out of the proper pecking order and saying like, hey, I just read about this on the computer. This is the way it should be, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, well, I'm your age, and I've been here for 10 years, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, if you read too much, then you're only reading, and it's like you're kind of turning into a nerd, and you don't have like the real life interaction or like social cues of how to act.
Yeah, there's a difference between a nerd and a cultured intellectual, and that's what I strive to be, the latter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of nerdery out there these days.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how people are trying to make themselves better. Like, I don't think it comes from a bad place, but they're trying too hard and not in the right way. I'd say.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying I'm fucking perfect, but I'm definitely,
sure.
I don't think anyone is, and I think that's part of like just being a person is like kind of growing over time. But when someone gets self-righteous or like someone lectures you on not to say the N-word or some shit, like,
hey, cracker, go back to your fucking cubicle,
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, well, okay, so here's the thing about, I guess, the current state of nerdery everywhere. Yeah. Anyone listening to this, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It solves a lot of problems that we used to have, especially within the context of hardcore and hardcore punk in the New York, New Jersey area specifically, where people used to literally be killed at shows and people would be swinging around chains, blinding kids at shows, kids had to put boots, locks on their boots so they wouldn't get stolen. Like
LA too, man, it was everywhere. Like people were just fucking wild in like the 70s and 80s.
It's a good thing that people are not dying at punk shows anymore and hardcore shows
Safety
anymore.
Safety first. Yeah.
Totally. But like I said, the proper pecking order is removed, and like that's just a byproduct of being in this safer place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's like just because it's safer now doesn't mean it's safe. And there's a lot of people, people who might talk the loudest about being feminists or whatever, who don't put their money where their money where their mouth is, and who will be the most fucked up people doing that stuff. Yeah. And it's so obvious to me. I don't know. It's just like. It's fucked up when some guy who colors his hair and spikes it when he's like 35, but only hangs out with 19-year-olds, and is saying every right thing about feminism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit's gross.
And this and that. Like, you're not a feminist, dude. You're just a fucking predator.
You're trying to impress.
Yeah,
girls,
like, why do you dress like that? Don't you have a fucking job? You know what I mean?
You're old as shit. Yeah.
Exactly. And, like, I'm a feminist as well, but then they have the audacity to say this and that about me, and it's just like it's fucked up.
Yeah, well, back to things being taken at face value and not really not understanding someone as a person, but like hearing the way someone talks. Good.
Yeah, social media and stuff. I think that people like really start looking at things as like hoarders instead of like people trying to build a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, who I've been trying to do the same thing I'm doing now for a long time. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. I just wanted to have as many kids who think that this stuff is important in the same place.
Yeah, totally.
Just
bring people together and have a good time.
Well, and if you don't like me, you don't like the things you've heard about me, and you've made up your mind about me before you want to have a conversation with me, that's fine. Don't fucking interact with me. I don't need you.
Yeah. The thing about social media is how polarizing it can be. And I think I've talked about this, but I can talk about this forever. It's like you literally you spend all your time making an argument, and then you spend 20 minutes crafting the perfect response. Like if this was a real life conversation, it wouldn't have went down like that.
No, they both would have been agreeing with each other and meeting each other halfway.
There would have been a lot more back and forth.
The art of conversation is lost on my generation, pal.
Sure, but now you go back to your artillery of words and talking points and articles, and then people dropping in the comment section like, I suggest you read this article before you say anything. It's like, no one wants to fucking do that. Like, we're trying to have a conversation.
At this point, the best you could hope for with any of that stuff is, like, maybe someone seeing this who's coming from the same direction as me will find this useful. But in terms of communication
this podcast
tool,
can be your vindication. We're gonna make it okay for you, man.
Facebook comments and stuff like that. When you're spending all day commenting back and forth with somebody, you're not changing that person's mind.
No, it's an argument.
That person's not listening to you. You're not listening to them.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does it matter? And I've been in Facebook situations like that where I'm like, all right, I could drag this on for 2 more weeks, or I could just nip it in the bud right here and be like, hey, you know what? You got a point here, but like, I just think that the difference in our perspective is this. Most people respond to that really well.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, you gotta, see someone's point and see it halfway. Because then, like, when people come drop in with likes and then, like, start tagging more people, it just gets messy.
Yeah.
It becomes like a point system then.
So, when I was living in Philly, right, I was a longshoreman for a little bit. I was going down to the Union Hall, and I didn't have guaranteed work because I was what's called a soc. They just identified me by my social security number.
Wow. Wait, what's a longshoreman? Like finding...
I worked on the docks.
Okay.
I was basically like we brought in brand new Hyundais, Kias, and what are those cars called? The Genesis, the Mercedes.
When they come over on this fucking...
Yeah, on the ships. We would just bring them back into the port and like park them on the trucks for the Teamsters.
That's pretty
and stuff
tight.
Like that. Yeah, and then sometimes you'd have like commodities like you'd have like a coil of steel or like cocoa beans or whatever. You just hook it up onto the ship, and if you're on the ground, you just like as the thing is bringing it in, you just like grab it and like you and a couple other dudes like kind of stabilize it and unhook it. Real like monotonous work, but it was rewarding to know that I was working towards maybe being a fully represented union member and like this and that. And like my politics are very left, like I said. I guess I'm a Marxist or whatever.
But the people you're working with at a job like that...
Not necessarily. Even though they're all union members and stuff, you're not going to... If you start saying like, I'm a fucking Marxist, everyone should get paid, this and that.
Yeah.
People are going to look at you like you got 5 heads. You're not going to have any friends.
But if you go up to anyone and say, I'm a fucking Marxist, they're going to look at you like you have 5 heads.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of people in their early 20s, they're used to that sort of thing. To most people in the United States, that's a dirty word.
Sure.
You can't talk about your radical politics that openly.
Yeah.
So you got to learn, I learned very early on. And even then, before I worked at the port, working with hundreds of people, all different from me. I worked in Newark with my mother at a dental clinic. And just even then, in the hood, you meet a lot of people with different, refreshing and new perspectives. Sometimes they're a little ignorant, but a lot of the time they're progressive in ways that you wouldn't even be able to, like,
that's cool.
Fathom in the suburbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to take back what I said in those kind of people you work with at your job, because I feel like that's a little too hasty.
It's a little classist, not going to lie.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I very quickly got absorbed into... They have each little working crew. They call them a gang, right? So
sure.
I got absorbed into like the black gangs. They would take me. I was like, okay, thank you. Because I remember like one of the first days I was there, there's this one white kid, another younger kid, very loud and annoying though, who just started saying all this like, yeah, we're gonna bomb North Korea, Trump.
Oh man.
Everybody there, because even though they're all working class, they are like relatively liberal. Their last like political candidate endorsed was like Obama and this and that.
Yeah.
Everybody schooled them. But there were still a lot of kids like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The older heads, like they're like, we're union workers. We've been doing this for so long. We know how to school you on it. I don't have that kind of patience though, because I'm their age. I shouldn't have to, be the big man in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of the time you're forced to, and a lot of the time you have to do that if you want to interact with people who are different from you.
Yeah, you got to listen and let people get their points out. People just want to say how they feel too.
Yeah, for sure.
So. Getting involved in skinhead culture, did you find like, I'd imagine like racist skinhead shit is like mostly gone.
No, well,
I've seen some weird shit happen still.
I thought it was mostly gone until Trump became president, and I feel like a lot of those guys felt emboldened by it and like came back out of the woodwork, and you had this thing called NYC Oi Fest, and had all these like.
That got canceled, right?
Bands. Yeah, it got canceled, and like the venue got shut down permanently, and like this and that. So like, it's no joke, and like you would think New York, it's the bastion of liberalism and this and that, but it's a city with 8 million people, probably 9 million by now. Like you've got a broad spectrum of differing opinions.
And when those people feel like their voices aren't being heard and they feel disenfranchised, they're gonna go twice as fucking hard.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just like growing up. All the skinheads I grew up around were either black or Puerto Rican. I didn't even know that most of the world associated it with like neo-Nazis until I was already shaving my head and wearing Doc Martens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, I, as a prominent member of the scene who's like brown and this and that, me and all my other brown skinhead friends, we have like this mutual respect and understanding. Like, hey, we're here, you know. But it's not like that in most other places. And like,
you ever get like vibed by someone for just being you?
Yeah, absolutely. And not necessarily in the Oi scene though.
Cool.
The Oi scene. Here's the thing, like, people who are like a little bit older than me and a lot younger than me who are trying to get themselves involved in this stuff or are involved in it or whatever, they're all pretty understanding of all this stuff and like they think I'm cool as shit. But people who are around my age and involved in it, a lot of them are crazy motherfuckers and like trying to make it some cruise shit, this and that. So if you go to like an Oi show in Philly or something like that, and like Chris Caton or somebody like that is booking it for you, they're gonna police the shit out of that. And if there's a fucking bonehead there, that guy will get the shit smacked out of him.
Yeah.
That happens. But then say when a hip Oi band who plays with mostly like hardcore bands, who's not really involved in like the skinhead scene over here, say they're from Europe or something, they're coming in because they're real hype, those Nazis will show up at those shows because it's all weirdo hipster punk kids. The skinheads aren't there because those kids will say, oh, this skinhead scene is problematic or whatever.
They just, yeah.
Blah, 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 but they need us.
A sample
you
of
know?
it. Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, I feel like a lot of this stuff from like weirdo suburban gentrifier kids, when they say, oh, you're problematic, you're this, you're that. Why is it that it's only like the brown and like Puerto Rican and black kids who they're saying that shit to? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's so many kids who still navigate the scene today who get a pass on that shit.
Well, there's a whole sect of being skinhead, right? Like being a sharp.
Yeah.
That's like skinheads against.
I saw a meme the other day.
Yeah.
Some lady posted on Twitter. She's like, there's all sorts of Nazis. There's even Nazis against racism. Sharp means skinheads against racial prejudice.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah. We got
that's just like you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, okay. This is kind of, you know, diverging from the point a little bit from your question or whatever. But since you brought it up, Sharp, skinheads against racial prejudice. Our guitar player, Duster's guitar player, Manny.
Yeah.
He whatchamacallit, his not his actual uncle, but his like second cousin once removed or something like that. His name is Marcus Pacheco. Our guitarist is Manny Pacheco, and Marcus Pacheco was one of the guys who started the original Sharp crew in New York City in the 80s.
Fuck yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the 90s. Or whatever.
And that's a time when it was needed, right?
Absolutely. And you know, yeah, you had just like all these like black and Puerto Rican and Jewish skinheads from New York who would like get together and do this and that. And you had a lot of people who were like, oh, it's too political. Like, they're all those sharps, like if you're not sharp, you're against us, this and that. And it's true, you know, at some point it did become like a crew mentality or whatever. But at the same time, like, I agree.
It might have needed to.
Why do you...
At that point, you need to know. As soon as it became appropriated by fucking Nazis and racist people, like, you kind of need to draw a line and be like, all right, we kind of need to know where everyone is on shit like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild that, I mean... Yeah, totally. Yeah. We'll talk about it all, dude. Yeah.
Cut this little part out.
Yeah. I think part of being skinhead is like pride in being working class, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Busting your ass, like having fun, hooliganism.
Oh yeah, all that stuff.
Getting rowdy, speaking your mind.
Yeah. And you know, when I started this band and when I first became involved in the Oi scene, I wasn't really working class. I was still going to college. I had it in my mind that I'd become an academic and this and that. Yeah. And one of the songs actually off our new record is called Working Class Transplant. And like the idea of being a transplant in that song isn't, I'm not talking about moving to a big city or something like that. I'm talking about, I'm not supposed to be working class, but I have to as a matter of subsistence, right?
Yeah.
And that's what that song is about. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, like the skinhead scene and like the records that I grew up listening to, all the values that those guys had and imparted onto me. That changed, you know, what I did with my life at that point. You know what I mean? And like being a skinhead, we get a rep for being confrontational and this and that, but it's really more about being together than for us being against you guys. You know what I mean? Not you guys, but them guys. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
I almost got my ass kicked at a skinhead show.
Hey man, you playing the ska band? You practically are a skinhead.
I said some dumb shit, dude. It was so we started another band and I sing in it. It's like ska punk, and we played at Hub City Stompers, which was rad, but like I didn't expect the crowd to like us. It was just nice that we got to play with them because I love that band and like they were friends. They put us on. It was cool. But I said some shit about like Papa John stepping down as like the CEO of Papa John's, and then I said some impolite things about Italian. I'm Italian, right? I said some impolite things about Italian people, and I'm like, oh, it's cool. I could say it. I'm Italian. But to one person at the show, it was not cool.
Is Papa John Italian?
No, he's not
like
even.
Schnatter or something?
Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah, it's a German guy. Yeah. But I was like, yeah, fucking dumb, greasy Italian. I said some.
No, you're allowed.
I thought I was, but then someone at the show was like, us Italians got to stick together. That wasn't cool what your singer said. Like I was like, oh man, here we go.
Oh, he needs to be proud. Okay. I'm sure this dude was a little older though, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the crowd was like
the way I
40
see it,
and up.
And I have seen this before. I'll see Indian kids in the basements and stuff like that, or at a party or something like that, and they'll start playing this fucking minstrel character for their white friends. They'll start making jokes about Indians. They'll start doing an accent, this and that. That shit disgusts me. I want to smack the shit out of kids when I see that. But, the status of Italian Americans and Indian Americans in this country.
Different.
It's not like that no more for you guys. So
yeah, that's the thing. I felt like we're not oppressed at all, so I can crack a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Indian Americans have been here for a long time too, and if that's how that kid wants to like bond with his friends, but there is something kind of gross about that because it feels like you said minstrel.
I'm not angry at the kid, you know what I mean? It hurts me to see that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. It's like. Because, that kid's going to choose to assimilate however he wants. And, a lot of older skinheads that I know who are people of color, they will say, like, oh, I'm not into politics. Or, oh, it shouldn't be about race and this and that. Because that's the way they assimilated, and that's what works for them. That's fine, whatever. It just hurts me when I hear it. Because, I would want you to join in arms with me against, our oppressors or whatever.
Yeah.
You seen Black Panther yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm going to spoil a little bit.
I rarely go to the movies, but like...
So do I, but, I have like one or two a year that I'm like... I think the last time I saw in the movies was like the new Mad Max or something like that.
Okay, when did that come out? I don't even know.
2015 or something.
All right, I saw like...
A little while ago.
I think Get Out, which was like...
I wanted to see that in the theaters.
Dude, it's good. You've seen it?
No. I saw a bootleg of it when it first came out, and the quality wasn't good, but I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to see that new Blade Runner.
Word.
Oh, but sorry. Yeah, in the Black Panther movie, there's one of the bad guys is actually like the cousin of the good guy, and he comes to like their mythical country. They'll be like, "Hey, we have all this crazy technology. There's oppressed people all over the world. I want to leak these weapons all over the world and like have us African descent people fight back against our oppressors." And the good guy in the movie says no.
Yeah.
That hurts me. You know what I mean? I thought the bad guy had more of a point in that movie. You know,
fight back.
He should have won. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because things have been offset for so long that, like, vindication, it feels like it should be more than just equality at this point. Because then it's like, well, what about getting paid back for the fucking?
What about reparations?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Chappelle show. You ever see that Chappelle show sketch?
Yeah.
So good.
How many record labels started that day? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get feeling that way. You know?
I mean, they did it in South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I'm not smart enough to talk
about I don't know the specifics about it.
I'm dumb as shit.
I shouldn't call it.
Yeah.
I just like, in South Africa, that part of their history, which was not long ago at all, they acknowledge it. And in the United States, people don't want to talk about it. People try to act like it's over, even though. Okay, I understand. Most of us, we all understand it should be over. We all understand we shouldn't have to talk about things like this. But for some people, it's a reality where you do have to talk about it even though you don't want to. And for others, it's something that you can just put on the back burner.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
And like I don't want my ignorance to come off as like I don't want to deal with this. But no. I feel like there was a long time where shit was fucked up that like And now it still is, but just in different ways. And not talking about it is just like kind of just ignoring the fact that there's still like a economic disparity and things like, discrimination that's making it unfair.
Well, here's the thing. If there's an uncomfortable discussion about race and you or one of your listeners happens to be white, which I know you are, and half, Italians,
Sicily, baby.
Hey, whatchamacallit? Whatchamacallit? Hey, man, you're practically one of us, No, what is it? If you happen to be in a situation where you feel uncomfortable about the discussion and you might not know about whatever they're talking about, it's perfectly acceptable to say that and to go to the person like, hey, I don't really know about this stuff, so pardon me if I don't really partake in this conversation, but I'm willing to hear you out about it.
Sure.
That's like super respectable, but nobody wants to admit that they don't know about something no more. It's
yeah.
like, I got Google. All right.
You see a bunch of nerds like
quickly
go to their phones.
Listen, here's the Merriam-Webster definition of racism. It's when anyone is mean to anybody of any race.
Actually, 1956, this happened and it offset.
Yeah. No, sorry, kids. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, You got to be able to understand where people are coming from. And if you don't know the context, then own up to it. Don't act like you do,
100%. Yeah. That's the thing, Human beings, we're social animals. We're all in it together. It's okay to learn from your peers. It's okay to not know as much about everything as your peers. What's not okay is when that peer reaches out their hand and says, hey, I can show you my world. And you just disrespect them. You turn your nose and say, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I feel you. See, I think that, we were talking about how rowdy shit was a while ago. If you think back, like, when there was fucking slavery, like, if you look at, like, the trajectory of shit, I'd say it's getting better over time. But people need to keep fighting like it's not getting better.
Yeah.
And we need to see like it's not, because there's still things that are fucked up that are still reducing the quality of life for people.
Listen, man, if we're having the same conversation 2 years ago, I would say it's totally getting better. It's very obviously getting better. I don't know anymore, though.
Yeah,
I don't
weird.
even know.
It's weird.
Like, whatchamacallit?
I don't.
God. What the hell's going on right now?
I'm an apathetic piece of shit with politics, and then I feel bad. Like, man, I should be, like, at least knowing. And then it's like, I feel powerless and disenfranchised. But I was, like, a Bernie Sanders bro, so, like.
Bernie bro, huh?
Yeah, that's me.
I'm a real socialist, huh?
Yeah, my uncle's, like, my Italian conservative family gives me shit. Like, what is your, because I have, like, an equality tattoo. Like, what does that mean, huh? You think everyone gets an equal shot? I'm like, I think that, first, everyone should have a chance, like.
No, okay, that's the thing is, everyone should have an equal shot. We're very well aware that not everyone has an equal shot.
Yeah.
But that's the thing,
They think it means, like, I want everyone equal pay off the bat. Like,
The way that, like, say Trump's base is, mostly working class white folks, is that, like, they don't understand that they're rooting against themselves. Like, social justice is a fight that helps all disenfranchised people, It's mostly a class issue. It's not, whatever. I'm getting into a fucking political rant.
Yeah. We do a whole other podcast.
Blah, blah, blah.
All good. We'll
Point is, people gotta stop looking at each other like they're enemies.
Yeah.
Who cares if, you don't believe in guns? I believe in guns. Okay. You don't have to own a gun. The gun violence, the mass murders are not happening in this country because of, you're allowed to own a gun or whatever. It's not because of the Second Amendment. The debate is, why are they so prominent? Why is it this? Why is it that? And it's because of campaign finance
accessible.
Reform. Yeah, you need to reform
why are guns
that
like
shit.
That manufactured that much?
It's because the NRA and the gun lobby is literally they're pushing the guns so hard in places where those things are prominent. Then obviously there's going to be some overspill because they're making a shit ton of money over it. The amount of guns we have right now, you don't need to make any more. You can have a perfectly fine like antique gun market.
Yeah.
And still have the Second Amendment or whatever.
Well, and I think that the Second Amendment was created because, like, we need to defend ourselves against the government. But now it's just like, I need to defend myself against my neighbor because, like, I'm doing a redneck accent. That's fucked up. But, like, it just comes from, like...
it's not that fucked up.
I don't know. It's just...
Here's the thing, though. I'm anti-government, and I do believe, I think that the idea of every citizen giving up every gun and the only people who have guns being the police... Me as a man of color walking around every day, like if I'm walking around in a certain neighborhood I've never been to, I'm looking over my shoulder, and it's not for muggers or something like that. It's for cops. I
feel that. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable with a situation like that. And if you look at it, There's articles about it. I can show you if you. Yeah, I'm gonna share this on the Dusters Facebook page. Look for it around February 2018.
Okay.
Gun control legislation is rolled out in a way that is typically pretty racist.
Huh.
They don't go to all the farms in Montana or whatever, because it'll take you a fucking year to do your work, right? They will go to the concentrated cities, the fucking inner city areas, the black and brown neighborhoods, where they'll say, oh yeah, these types of guns are banned, so we're just going to do no-knock raids on your whole block to look for the guns.
Oh, fuck.
And after raiding 20 houses, maybe they'll find one.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like a... Gun control is a racist thing. And most people don't know about that stuff.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Even that point you had about like how just cops have guns. As a white guy, I never thought about that, but it's true.
That's why we got to have these conversations. And that's why and I hate to say this, I hate to sound like some kind of centrist or whatever, but when you have a white friend, especially that you care about, and you're a person of color, and you're like, oh, it's not my job to educate you, this and that. I'm not talking about jobs. I'm talking about the communal feeling of sitting down with your friend and being like, hey, this is the way it is. Like, most people don't tell you that stuff, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You're going to make a lot more friends. You're going to do a lot more for us brown folk by talking to your friends like that instead of talking down to your friends.
Yeah, it's true. Or just pulling up your points and posting them.
Yeah. And jokes is jokes. Jokes is one thing, right?
Yeah. I'm a big joke guy.
But, if I'm with somebody and I don't understand that stuff, I'll apologize. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't actually hate whites. But most of my friends who I apologize to think I'm insane for doing that stuff because they're on the same page.
Yeah.
But not everybody is.
No, totally.
You can't make assumptions and assume that everybody is.
No, you can't. All right, so let's talk about Dusters because you got some shit coming in 2018.
Oh yeah, a lot of shit is coming out. We're actually, I think, sometime around next month. It's February, right? So I think April, we're putting out a new tape on a label called Crowd Control Media.
Cool. Where are they based out of? Do you know?
The Crowd Control Media is based out of, I believe, California and Texas.
Cool.
And my buddy Sheldon is the guy that runs it, and he's an accountant and a novelist. And he just his whole thing, his writing style is there's a couple of his Richard Allen skinhead and suedehead and mod novels or whatever.
Okay.
And that guy just wants to rip that off, but in an American context or whatever.
Sure.
And he's his username on this writing website is subculture writer or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this shit's cool. It might not be Hemingway or some shit, but it's fun, interesting shit to read.
That's neat.
And he's putting out all these records and this and that. So he's putting out that tape for us, and there's 3 songs, and it's gonna be our 2018 demo, and those 3 songs, along with 8 more songs, are gonna be put out on wax on an LP. By the end of the year, the label putting that out is called Rawhead Records from Toronto. There's a little bit of drama involving the guy that runs that label, too.
Oh, no.
We'll talk about it in a sec, but it's going to be, 11 tracks, maybe a couple reprise, however you pronounce that, from the original demo. But it's all new tracks that we recorded at Trax East in South River, which if you know the Misfits and Hatebreed and
dude,
this
place
and that,
is so
Lifetime.
Tight. I recorded there when I was 14, and I was just fucking taken aback. I was there. We were there for a day and the 3 songs. But
we're sitting there, and I'm going to take a piss, and I walk out, and I'm looking at all these masters I have just lining the walls.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm looking at the original masters for the E-Town Concrete LP and this and that. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
It's wild. Hatebreed, a lot of fucking bands, dude. Did you record with Chris Pierce?
No. I didn't even know he worked there.
He owns it now.
He owns it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to do a podcast, but he just bought that place.
That'd be cool, yeah. No, we worked with this guy, Sean Kenny. He sings in a band called Prospect.
Okay.
A hardcore band from Toms River area.
Cool.
He's a really good kid, and he really knows what he's doing, and
for that style of music too, you need a certain sound, you need it's got to hit the right way.
Yeah, so we're sitting in the room that they cut Lifetime Hello Bastards in, fucking recording our record. Got some Canadian fella, my buddy Darcy, who I know if you're listening to this, you heard the things about Darcy, you might think I'm something, but let's talk, all right? My buddy Darcy.
Is that the dude from the label? Or?
Yeah. Okay, he put up all the money for the record, so we're getting the royal treatment.
And recording too, or
recording everything.
Oh, wow.
He's putting up all the money for the record, the recording.
Hell yeah!
And he's putting up the money for Crowd Control Media's release as well, because he paid for the recording, right? So we're taking those tracks, and CCM's putting it out. And I told him, he was like, I don't give a fuck. It's good promotion. You know what I mean?
That's tight. That's really cool.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit. And it got the record's been mastered. There's 2 different masters. So the tape versions of those songs that are coming out on Crowd Control Media are gonna be. It has a more raw, like in your face master than what's going on the record. Mastered by Don Fury, who if you don't know that name, I feel sorry for you because. There's a couple records like the Gorilla Biscuit Start Today, Agnostic Front, Victim in Pain EP, this and that. That's the guy that recorded all that stuff. Youth of Today, all these great original New York hardcore bands master our shit.
Is it all done?
It's all done.
Yo, send me just like one track if you don't mind. I won't send it to anyone.
Actually, whatchamacallit? I mentioned that song earlier, Working Class Transplant. If you want to do some like computer magic.
Can I put it on the podcast?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, hey, folks at home, this is my new track from the Dusters LP, East Coast Realism. The song's called Working Class Transplant.
In academia, what's an acad to do? What don't they on game today? Have a couple of brews. He's gonna be the one that writes the books when he's chopping up ice balloons. He's gonna be the one that gets the checks when there's nose buried in taxes, and you will never understand the things the union's got planned. Working class transplant, fight for those who can. You will finally see. Working class transplant, he's a working man. What he's meant to be. Trust the fucking media, that shit ain't true. What don't they on game today? He's got nothing to prove. He's gonna be the one that writes the books when he's chopping up ice balloons. He's gonna be the one that gets the checks where there's no buried tanks, and you will never understand the things the union's got planned. Working class transplant, fight for those who can. You will finally see. Working class transplant, he's a working man. What he's meant to be.
Hell yeah, we're back.
Yeah, what'd you guys think, huh?
I'll splice it. You gotta send it tonight, though. I'll splice it and drop it in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or tomorrow. This will go up on Wednesday. But
yeah, I'll send it to you as soon as I leave here.
So, one LP sometime later, summer?
Yeah, probably around summertime.
Cool, man.
Trying to do a couple weekends. And
yeah,
some tours,
get out there. Yo, you got an LP. Get out as many weekends as you can, dude.
That's the thing about this band. Like, Dusters, I've been in bands before. I've done, like, the whole tour thing before. I had to work my ass off for it. Dusters, we have hardly left. No. Yeah, we've hardly left. I think it's happened twice. The New York, New Jersey, Philly area to play. but it's come to us so easily.
Good.
And, like, there's never been anyone who's wanted to put almost $2,000 into my bands before.
Yeah, that's fucking
You
awesome.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yo, people, this is the place to be. People want to come here. I saw a band post a tour recently, and it was like one date in like the South, and then like 5 shows: Philly, Connecticut, Boston, Jersey, New York. Like the Northeast is a really good place to be.
It's just a fucking hothouse over here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You can get to so many places in a weekend, dude.
Absolutely.
Connecticut does like cool fucking Orient Fest and shit.
And that's the thing, like, say, like, with Canada or whatever, you've got some pretty cool major cities to play, but you've got, like, 5-hour drives between each one.
Yeah,
and, like,
Montreal from here is, like, 6.5. Toronto to Montreal is, like, another fucking 8,
Yeah, it's insane,
a lot of
man.
open space,
It's a big-ass country, you know?
But if you can tour Canada and, like, become, like, they'll respect that, you know? Like, because they know that you fucking have to drive.
Well, Dusters has never played in Canada, but when Disobey would play in Canada back in the day, okay. Well, here's a funny experience. I'm going to tell you 2 stories from when Disobey used to go to Canada, all right? We used to get so much money, first of all. That's insane. I've never gotten paid that much money until recently with Dusters. But one, we show up in Hamilton, Ontario, and this is right after I had Broken Edge, and and graduated from high school.
Okay.
We just hopped right in the van.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that sentence in their lives. But you're good,
Whatchamacallit? We meet this guy at this record store that he volunteers at, and he takes us back to his apartment. He smokes us up, shows us his record collection.
Yeah.
We see, like, this horror movie, this low-budget horror movie that he was in, and his band was in, and it's, like, really great. I actually forget this guy's name now, but his band's name was Gunnar Hansen.
Okay.
Back in the day. And we played the show that he booked for us in Hamilton, Ontario. It was at some bar, and like it was like a hardcore show, and like everyone was really stoked on us being there. But the singer for this one band, he was like, "Oh yeah, this song goes out to Disobey. You know, thanks guys for coming up here. You know, it's not fair what all those people say about Americans. They're not stupid. You know, this and that." I was like, "Wait a second, what?"
Yeah.
And then we're outside talking to another guy that's smoking cigarettes and shit, and. You know, he's like, "So what's it like down there?" And we're just like, "Oh, you know, it's like pretty much like this."
Yeah.
He's like, "Really? You think so?" Like, we're like, "Yeah." He's like, doesn't everybody like not believe in abortion over there?" So I'm like, "No, we're from New Jersey, pal. We've got a pretty good education system over there."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, okay," and he walks away.
They throw shade in Montreal. I got vibed because I didn't speak French.
Yeah.
So right away they're fucking mad at you.
Yeah.
They just like respect that so much. Yeah. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, another time we played in Canada. Okay, I'm gonna tell 2 more. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Tell 2 total, but 3 total. Okay, so you know, just Broken Edge, just turned 18 or whatever. We fucking played at this squat called Death House.
Okay.
And I met the guy you've seen him on the internet before. He's got like the skeleton tattoo all over every square inch of his body or whatever. His name's Rico Zombie Boy.
Okay.
I'll show you a pic. He was in that like weird movie 47 Ronin or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Just some like internet famous guy because he has a bunch of tattoos everywhere. I met him there. You know, a bunch of these crusty kids like hopping off of freight trains and walking right into our show. It was insane. I didn't even know where the fuck I was. I might have fallen in love a couple times that night as a young 18-year-old edge breaker or whatever.
Sure.
Montreal is insane, and like people will hit you up, like if you're playing a show in Montreal, knowing you're an American band, and like ask to like borrow something or whatever, but like they'll send the whole message in French. They won't even attempt to like. They don't even think that people speak English. You know what I mean? They think it's a myth.
It's different.
But then
it's really that's the only part of Canada, like that province. I guess.
Quebec.
You get to Toronto, it's all English. You know.
Hey, you know what? I support them. You know they should just.
It's cool.
Fuck it.
Yeah, roots.
Fuck
whatever.
the Brits, man. Fuck the Queen. Why is she on their money still? You know. No, but when we're heading back to the U.S. from that tour, we played in Portsmouth, Maine.
Okay.
And we're walking around. That's where the Bruisers is from, actually. One of the first, not first, but early USOI band.
Word.
We're walking around looking for the beer store, and we're like, well, I just called it, you know, like that, the way we said it too, because that's what they call it in Canada, right? The beer store.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we go up to this guy. We see him on the street. He's got a hat on and some like shorts or whatever, you know, sweat stains visible on his shirt. Like, hey, me and our guitarist Pat Duffy. You know Pat Duffy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, yo, County Drop represent. We're walking around, and we'd been in Canada for like 5 days. We had a couple days off after our Montreal show. We're just hanging out, and we're just wasted the whole time, right? So we're like, hey, man, where's the beer store? Yeah, where's the beer store?
It's funny, when you said it before, it came off Canadian, too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
So the guys see this, like, oh, yeah, right this way. Come with me, fellas. And, like, walks us to the store. And, like, we pick up a 30 rack of PBRs or whatever. He's like, oh, no, you guys should put that back. And, like, here, drink one of these instead. And he grabs us a Budweiser. I'm like, ugh, like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I guess, whatever. And then we go to pay, and the guy goes like, no, it's on me, fellas. The guy pays, he hands us a thing, and we're leaving. We're like, hey, thank you so much. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, you didn't even know that, like, where we're from or whatever. It's like, oh, no, I could tell you guys were from out of town. Like, welcome to America, fellas.
Oh.
And walks away.
Nice.
And I was just like, okay, whatever, I'm taking this beer.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's also, like, just, I guess, main hospitality. Because in Jersey, it'd be like, yeah, it's over there. Leave me alone. Like, I'm not buying any beer.
Yeah, in Jersey, it'd be like, what the fuck? It's a beer store.
You're
it's
like
a liquor store.
Yeah, then they're walking away and you take out your phone and film them and be like, yo, check out this weird Canadian asshole.
Yeah, fucking tourist.
Yeah, man. Canada's cool, though. It's cool you got some good stories on the road.
Yeah, man.
Yo, Duster should get out there, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, it's harder for us now because we're older and, like, we all have actual commitments in life.
It only gets harder, let me tell you.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, just do it as much as you can and keep fighting uphill, pretty much.
Yeah, hoping to do that, like, do a couple of things with the new LP coming out. It might end up being, like, we only put out a new record every 2 years and, like, only do, like, week-long tours in Europe every, like, 5 years or something like that. Such is the tradition.
That's still tight. Yeah.
That's what American oi bands are like.
Yeah.
They never break up. They never, like, really put out that much material, but they're always doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And,
that's not a bad aspiration at all, man.
Yeah,
Go out and have fun.
One could only hope, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm young, and I feel like a lot of the sound of Dusters and a lot of the message... Like, we have a song called Ghetto Skins off the LP, and it's just about being a skinhead and being a hood rat at the same time. I think so much of it, being young and being from an urban area is essential to it, and just having a big group of friends. And, like, I know this group of friends, our lives are intersecting right now, but it's not going to be like that forever. People walk out of your life all the time.
Sure, yeah.
And so, I guess that's another thing you asked about, like, what does Dusters write about or whatever, but it's just, like, Dusters... I think what I want people to take away from it more than any overarching message, even though there are many, is that this is us. This is the way that the kids that we hang out with are. This is the way it was in New Brunswick in 2017, 2018. So maybe 10 years, 20 years, when some kid finds out, hey, I'm a skinhead. There used to be this skinhead band from here called this and that. Maybe they'll think that shit's really cool.
Hell yeah, man. I
recently had that experience. Pedro showed me that band, one of your previous guests, Pedro. He showed me that band, Niblick Henbane, which is one of the first U.S. oi bands. They started in, like, 84. Antiheroes started in, like, 85. They put out a record before Niblick Henbane, but, like, still, Niblick Henbane, I think, started earlier. And, like, whatchamacallit? It's one of the first U.S. oi bands. They're from right here in New Brunswick. And, like, them and, like, Those Unknown, Wretched Ones... All these bands are singing about, like, going down to bars and stuff. They're probably talking about Ellenwood.
Same bars
like
we're
that.
hitting.
Yeah, and, like,
that's cool.
That's so important,
Yeah.
Most places ain't like that. New Brunswick's special.
Yeah, a piece of history and culture, and you guys are keeping it alive.
Respect.
Thank you. People hear that shit and be stoked on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you play some of the same shows with us, so you too, pal.
Yeah. We're doing it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Check out Dusters. Woo!